Hello, this is Weekend Handicapper from weekendhandicapper.com. This video I'd like to talk about how to make money betting the daily double. The daily double, one of my favorite bets. I feel bad for it. It's kind of forgotten. It's like somebody's little neglected kid. Nobody hardly pays attention to anymore. But in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can make some money betting the daily double. The daily double, to me, is a forgotten wager. Nowhere near the people and amount of money is bet on the double like it used to be. But in this presentation, I'm going to show you why you should consider betting the daily double, the pros of betting the daily double, of course, the cons of betting the daily double, where to bet the daily double, and some success tips and strategies for betting the daily doubles. So does anyone bet the daily double anymore? It's one of the oldest exotics that we have, that and the exacta. So exotic wagers, for those of you who might be new to horse racing, are bets, wagers that are beyond the win, place, and show across the board wagers. So the daily double is basically you have to pick 2 races in a row, the winner of 2 horse races in a row. And the double's been around for a long, long time, along with the exacta. So why aren't more people betting the double these days? Well, one, there's a lot more wagering options. There's so many more than what used to be. So more people are favoring the more high-risk, high-reward wagers, such as superfectas, trifectas, pick 4s, pick 5s, and pick 6s. And the reason they're doing that is the potential to make more money. More money is always a lure in gambling. Of course, that's usually why we do it. Why we gamble is to make money. So these other more attractive bets are attractive for the simple fact that they're potentially more lucrative. But potential profits exist with the daily double. I'm getting ready to explain why. You can consistently make money by betting the daily double if you can kind of keep your ego in check and kind of curb your craving for action, and you will make you will profit from the daily double if you decide to focus on that wager. So some of the pros of betting daily doubles. And the reason it's called daily double is because it used to be only offered once or twice a day, way back when. Now it's, hopefully, you're playing tracks that offer it pretty much every race. Gives you more opportunity to choose from, races that you have a good feel on and profit from. So some of the pros of betting daily doubles. Well, first, it has a high success rate. Figuring out the probable winner of horse races, in my opinion, is a lot easier than figuring out who's going to come in second, third, or fourth. So you're going to get to a point, if you hadn't already, that you get really good at picking winners. Doesn't mean you're going to make money, but you will get pretty good at finding and figuring out who's going to win a horse race. Therefore, it has a high success rate, meaning you're going to cash tickets. You're going to win. Remember, I always say there's a big difference between winning horse races and winning money at horse racing. So you'll have a high success rate. It's fairly simple. You pick your spots to be successful with the double. And it's a wonderful option for conservative bettors. If you're somebody that's scared and is a little uneasy about betting in the first place, and you're not the go for broke, swing for the fences kind of bettor, then I think you're going to really enjoy the daily double because you'll win pretty often, and you will psychologically, it's a pretty good feeling when you can cash on a consistent basis. But one thing that I love about doubles, and the reason that I'm a big fan of betting daily doubles, is you know how much the payouts will be. That is huge. That is so important when you're betting on horses. I always tend to look for bets and wagers that I know how much I'm getting in return. It's just like if you go sell a car. If you're selling a car for somebody and your car, Kelly Blue Book values, say it's $3,500. That's the value of your car. It's a fair value. And if you go and try to sell it to somebody and they want to offer you $2,000 for the car, well, you know that's not a good deal. That's not the value of the car. Same thing with doubles. And exactas too, but for this video, we're talking about doubles. You get to see how much that bet's going to return. And by seeing the payout, the probable payout of what that double is returning, if you bet it, you know whether or not that's a good bet, if there's value there. And so you can analyze these payouts before you even wager to know whether or not you're getting a good return, good value, return on investment for your wagering dollars. So that's huge. That's key. I cannot stress that enough. And you don't get that with trifectas and superfectas and pick fours. We don't know, pick sixes. We don't know how much the money is before we even put our wager down. We don't know how much you're going to get back. You do know that with daily doubles. And then consistent profits. Like I said, you're going to consistently make money betting the doubles. It's not a really hard wager to hit, and you'll routinely do it. You'll routinely succeed at this wager. With everything, there's cons. So the cons of betting daily doubles, there's a small amount of money in the wagering pools. In horse racing, you have a pool, separate pool for each kind of bet. So there's a exacta pool, double pool, trifecta, superfecta, pick threes, pick fours. Not many people bet the double anymore. Like I said, there's other options, more lucrative, potentially lucrative options. So not many people are betting the double these days. And the nature of pari-mutuel wagering is, if not that many people, basically the money in the pool is everybody, all of us putting our money in. And then we bet on our combinations or on our horses. So since not too many people are betting the double these days, therefore there's not much money in the wagering pools, which means if you're right, you can't take much of other people's money because there's not much of other people's money in the wagering pool because bettors are going to other bets. Also, there's low payouts. Remember, you can see how much money you're going to win by betting doubles and the probable payouts. And most, you can see these on the tote board. If you wager at home, every pretty much advanced deposit wagering website, you can see them. And just preparing you, if you don't know already, you won't win much, but you'll win. And you certainly won't get rich. But if you're somebody that's conservative, wants to grind it out, psychologically feel like, man, I know how to pick some winners of some horse races, you can have a nice, steady profit from betting on doubles if you are smart and pick your spots. Now, where to bet doubles, daily doubles? This is important. You always want to try to give yourself the biggest advantage that you can. Any kind of edge you can get, you got to take it because horse racing is such a hard game. And it's so difficult to make some money at horse racing. So you want to bet doubles at tracks that have $1 minimum increments. And the reason that is because not everybody has a large bankroll. And, Weekend Handicapper strives to help people that are new to horse racing, new to handicapping. So I want to do everything possible to try to help those that might not have a big bankroll. So try to find tracks that have $1 minimum increments. That means for a minimum of $1 instead of $2, which some tracks have, you can bet the daily double. Another reason I like the $1 minimum increments is because you can structure your wagers in such a way that you bet more on the combinations that you're more confident in. Good size betting pools, that's important. Remember, I was saying one of the cons of betting the daily double is there's not much money in the wagering pool as it used to be. So try to find tracks that have a good size betting pool. And those are usually your larger tracks, your big tracks. Low takeout, that means your takeout, anytime you bet on horse races, if you win, the track takes a cut of the profits. So in doubles, you want to look for a 20% or less takeout rate by the track. And you want to try to bet tracks that routinely have large fields. To me, 8 or more horses in a race is a large field. So you want to get good at pinpointing your betting action towards tracks that allow you to have $1 minimum increments, has a decent sized betting pool for doubles, low takeout of 20% or less, and have 8 or more horses in the races. So where are some places to bet the daily double using those factors? Look, I love all tracks. I try to support all tracks. I know some tracks, smaller tracks, are hurting. I try to give business. I try to promote any racetrack I can. But the simple fact is very frustrating when you don't have much money in a betting pool, and it doesn't take much to sway the odds or the payouts. I can't tell you how many times I felt good about a horse, about a bet, and there are a certain number of odds when they're going in the gate, and as soon as they leave the gate, there's no value, and I would have never bet that horse at those odds. Or I hit the double, and then it paid a lot less than I thought because at the very end, somebody came in, put a lot of money down, and screwed up the payoffs. And so it's very frustrating at smaller tracks. So you want to kind of concentrate on major tracks such as New York, California, Kentucky, and Florida. Of course, we have Belmont, Aqueduct, Saratoga in New York, California, Santa Anita, Del Mar. Of course, there's Golden Gate too, but I wouldn't classify that as a big track. Kentucky, so you got Churchill Downs, of course, Keeneland. Florida, Gulfstream Park. Those tracks tend to have decent sized wagering pools. And so the odds won't fluctuate as much as they will smaller tracks, which means you have a greater likelihood when you bet something, you're going to get that in return, what you thought you were going to get in return. There's other tracks though, so Woodbine, Sam Houston, Retama, and Tampa Bay Downs. The reasons I put these on here is not because they're big tracks with huge wagering pools, but their takeouts are pretty satisfying. And if you hadn't already, check out Horse Players of North America track ratings, HANA. You can go on horseplayersassociation.org. It's fabulous. I need to make a video about this resource, but it's really cool. You can sort the different tracks according to their takeout percentages or field size, the number of dirt starters, turf starters. It's really excellent resource I use all the time. And so Woodbine, Sam Houston, Retama, and Tampa Bay Downs, they have a pretty low, as far as doubles go, pretty low takeout percentage. So if you want to try to get more of your money back or keep more of your money when you win, those tracks would be pretty good to focus on. So check out horseplayersassociation.org. Those track ratings, really excellent resource. So that's where to bet daily doubles. Now, how do you bet them? Here are some tips that maybe, hopefully, will help you out as far as when you go to bet doubles. And that way, it's my hope that you'll be winning more consistently and winning more money. How you do this, no matter if it's a double bet or any bet you do, be very, very selective of the races you bet. You can't just be betting every single race, hooking up, 2 races after 2 races after 2 races. That's gambling. And you won't be a winner in the long run if you're playing like that. So please be very selective of the races you bet. There's so many races out there. If you search and if you're patient enough, you're going to find 2 races that you have a pretty strong opinion on. And hopefully, those races don't include the favorite. In fact, if you pick a race where you could beat the favorite in the first leg, it's going to pay a lot more than if the favorite wins the first leg. Now, that might seem like Captain Obvious, but it's so true. If you can be patient and wait and bet a race where you don't even include the favorite in the first leg, you're going to be a lot better off. It's going to pay a lot more. So try to take a stand against the favorite, especially in the first leg of your double. And that applies to pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s too. But if you're taking baby steps, just learning how to bet on horses, start by trying to beat the favorite in the first leg of your double. Avoid first-time starters and lightly raced horses. Now, I love all kinds of horse races, but these kind of races are a crapshoot. You don't know. You don't have much to go on. So avoid. There's plenty of other races with more experienced horses that have a track record of what they're capable of. So first-time starters, you never know what's going to happen with them. There's so many unknown factors. Lightly raced horses, pretty much the same thing up to a point. Some lightly raced horses can stay right where they're at after they've raced the first or second time. Others will take an enormous jump and they'll improve drastically. And you never know. You can guess. If the price is right, maybe kind of factor that in. But if you want to up your odds of hitting more doubles and winning more money, I would stay away from lightly raced horses. Now, I love turf races. I absolutely love them. They're so fun to bet. You make a lot of money from them. But be careful, because turf races are prone to a lot of traffic trouble, bad trips. You might have the best horse, but it got blocked and couldn't get up in time and lost by a nose. Crazy stuff happens in turf races. They're a lot of fun to watch and bet, but they can drive you insane and put you in cardiac arrest if you have too much money on them. So unless you have a lot of contenders and you want to spread out a lot of horses, I would say hold off, try to steer away from turf races. So try to stick to like dirt routes. So if you kind of find some of those races to bet on or include, then chaos usually is less likely to ensue. And if you stay away from first-time starters, lightly raced horses, you know what you're going to get, and you got more factors to go on. So that's some good tips to get started. Study the probable pools. Like I said earlier, you know exactly what you're going to get when you bet a double. And you can look, and I guarantee you, mark my words here, a lot of times when the 2 most likely winners of a race, who become the favorites in the win pools, they might be overlays in the double. So what I'm saying is, if a horse was 2-1 in the first race, 9-5 in the second race, you would think that would be the lowest double payoff. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes in the double, the 2 most likely winners aren't the lowest payouts. So that's why it's really important to study the probable pools and never bet a double combination that's undervalued. Back to the car analogy. If they're not giving you fair value for your wager, do not bet it. Look for the wagers that you're getting the better end of the deal and you're getting a lot of value for those combinations. And only bet when there's value. That applies to doubles. That applies to win bets, exactas, pretty much any bet. But the beauty of doubles, betting doubles, win bets, exactas, you can know whether or not there is value simply because you see the probable payouts. Try to beat two favorites. If you're patient, remember there's so many races out there, so many tracks in this day and age. You can get on the computer, bet all around the world. You don't have to stick to your one track if you have access to a computer at an OTB. But no matter where you're at, try to beat two favorites. Wait until you think you can beat two favorites, or heavy favorites, I should say. If that favorite's 3-1, then that's a whole different story because you'll probably get a decent payout. But if you can try to wait and try to find races that you can beat two favorites, then that's best case scenario. Another factor I want y'all to remember is different increments. Like I said a couple slides ago, betting those dollar increments or whatever your base wager, your minimum wager is that you're comfortable betting. What I like to do is have multiple tickets. And in future videos, I'll show you how I do this. Basically, if your horse that is your number one pick, let's say is the number 5 horse, that's your number one pick in one race. Your number one pick in your second race, the last leg of the double, is the number 4 horse. We'll put more money on that combination than you do the other combinations. So bet in more increments in the combinations that you're more confident in. So that is a really cool, helpful tip that I've been using for years. And you get compensated more based on your confidence of your combinations. So again, in future videos, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So you can, if you hit the double, you'll hit it multiple times and make even more money if you're right about those two races. So if you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button, a Weekend Handicapper. I usually try to put out tutorials and resources to help you all out win more money at the racetrack. So if you hadn't already, appreciate it if you subscribe so you can get the latest videos. Also visit weekendhandicapper.com, and that way you can hopefully improve your handicapping skill and enjoy this beautiful game of thoroughbred horse racing. So until next time, happy handicapping, smart wagering, and improve that double game. Don't forget about the daily double. It's still a good bet in a lot of circumstances. If you use it right, use these strategies, I guarantee you'll start consistently winning more daily double bets. Take care.